Order of the July 7th meeting of the Board of Zoning Adjustment.
Okay, hit record. July 7th, 2021, Drew Goodner, Frost Rollins,
Here.
Amy Sorrells,
Here.
Tim White,
Here.
Clint Wilson,
Here.
John Huff,
Here.
Letitia Khalif.
Here.
I want to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from June 2nd, 2021.
Second.
Frost Rollins,
Yes.
Amy Sorrells,
Yes.
Tim White,
Yes.
Clint Wilson,
Yes.
John Huff.
Okay. We have a communication to read. Any persons aggrieved by any decision of the board may within 15 days after such decision appeal to the circuit court having jurisdiction according to section 908.02 of the zoning ordinance of the city of Auburn, Alabama. The board consists of 5 regular members and 2 supernumeraries. Supernumeraries participate in all discussions, but only vote when necessary to assure 4 voting members and have a board consisting of 5 members when possible. All decisions are made with a roll call vote, and a concurring vote of 4 members is required to approve an application for a variance. Any old business?
The item on tonight's agenda is a carryover from last month's meeting.
And I guess we'll go ahead and start with that request, PL 2021-00293.
Yes, good evening. All right, your only case tonight is a setback variance located at 211 Talon Court in the NC 20 zoning district. The request is for a variance of 30 feet to the minimum required 45-foot rear yard setback to allow a rear yard setback of 15 feet. You can see on the prox map here, the location is at the intersection of Talon Court and South College Street. The surrounding area is entirely NC 20, like the subject property. You might recall a couple months ago had another request on the opposite side of the street just to get your bearings in that area. This is the site plan for the home. This is on the north side of the intersection, on the Talon Court side. The home itself is the lot is approximately 35,900 square feet and is lot 7 of the Talons subdivision. It's currently vacant. However, along with the rest of its neighbors will be a single family home with the exception of the lot to the back behind it, which is to be an amenity lot, as you can see on the site plan here. The applicant wants to bring the rear setback, shown in the shaded area right there, and reduce that to 15 feet. The buildable area within this lot, without the variance, would allow for a home site that is comparable to the other homes that are in the subdivision. Have not received any correspondence for this case, and subject to any of your questions from staff, the applicant is here tonight.
Applicant?
One with the Foresight Group representing the applicant here. Back when we were first looking at doing this subdivision, that was what, 5 years ago? 4 or 5 years ago. We were running into some problems with the neighbors in regards to basically them not seeing this as a subdivision area. We had an extensive meeting with Mayor Ham and Dr. Bennett, who was the mayor's rep on the planning commission at that time, and talked about our design intent and what we were thinking about for this development. And some of the items we had discussed and talked about doing as part of that meeting, it was facilitated by planning staff, was talking about trying to make the street smaller in scale and more intimate, kind of making it more decorative as opposed to what you have out there now is you have granite curbing and not your regular curb and gutter, different types of inlet types. There's some stuff like that we were talking about that Dr. Bennett was recommending us do. We implemented. Two of the other requests they wanted us to do was that the homes fronting South College, they wanted the front doors to face South College. And the other concern was the location of the house in relation to South College. If you go back up to that proximity map, you can see where this is at. The green outlines are the existing homes that are built. The one to the south of us is plus or minus, I want to say 60, 70 feet. The front of the building is off of the curb. To the north of this lot, that house is almost 200 feet off of South College. And so the thought process is when you're coming in, you kind of have you don't have homes right up on the street, that they're kind of set back and that we kind of don't break up that vision line. We told them that we would try to do that, but probably part of that would require a variance to slide some of these back. So that's what we're here before you tonight. The one on the south side wasn't as critical. We tried to keep that one as far back, but the house to the south of that house that's currently being built right now, like I said, it's only about 70 feet back. It's not 200 feet like the drastic difference we have on the north side. The way this zoning is set up in the NC20 zoning, our front setback is 40 feet and our rear setback is 45. If we orientate this house towards South College, we have a 40-foot setback in the front and a 45 foot setback against the amenity lot in the rear. And then we have a 25-foot setback off of the interior street and 5 foot on the other one. If we kind of flip that and we orientated the house and called the front Talon's Court there, it kind of totally flips all that and it reduces our side setbacks and allows us to pull the house off, but we just don't have our front facing South College like what we were asked to do in the intended use. The other part of this is, we can't have access for a driveway off of South College. We can only have a driveway off of Talon's Court. The way the slope falls, you can see in the site plan, we kind of have a retaining wall back through there. We ended up rerouting a stream, piping a stream around there, and that site falls off pretty good. We're raising the back of that site up about 8 to 10 feet. And so trying to get a driveway, we're trying to be able to push the driveway on Talon's Court further back away from South College and not so close to South College when you enter it. If we have that setback tight to there, our driveway is going to be really tight to South College. So the whole intent of this is really, it's not to build a bigger house. It's really to build the same house, but just slide it back on the lot that is further back, that kind of keeps in what we were, our discussions with the city on trying to get the house on this site back, and our neighbor to the rear is only an amenity lot, so it's not like we're encroaching onto another house. Just so you know, the homeowner to the north is the family that sold this property, so they're aware and on board with what we're proposing to do. I know that was a lot of information. Be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
So when you say the lot, I guess it's to the east, is that,
Yeah.
so it's outdoor recreational?
That's
use
just
you
an
call it?
amenity lot.
So an amenity, is that just like a public area, like for the?
Just for that neighborhood, yeah.
Neighborhood use?
Yeah, open space in most traditional neighborhoods here, if open space is usually a requirement. It's not a requirement in the NC zoning. I don't think we had an open space requirement. We just did it because we had a leftover lot that we couldn't do anything else with.
So that's your argument for lot 7. What's your argument for lot 1?
What do you mean?
Well, which way does lot one face, the house?
It faces South College.
It faces South College. Okay, so if it faces South College, which I don't know that, when I've driven by, it doesn't look that way, but I believe you. It looks where the building line is, did you ask for a variance across? It looks like it has a 45 rear, so it fit over there, but it's not fitting across on lot 7? So if you look at lot 1 compared to lot 7, it kind of looks about the same. So I guess I'm kind of confused. If you're saying that it worked on lot 1, I'm confused why it doesn't work on lot 7.
So, can you go back to the prox map? If you see the house to the south adjacent to lot 1, that home is not 200 feet back from the street. That one is only plus or minus, I don't know.
Do y'all own that property?
About 70. No, no,
I'm not talking about that house. I'm talking about the one that's being built right now.
correct. We have a 45-foot maximum, or the home can't be any closer to 45. On that particular home, I don't know, what do you think? The front porch make it pretty close to that line, but then it juts back and around. And I think the point is that we weren't wanting the houses to be stacked and then you have this abrupt. The thought is that the homes would stagger back so you have this one's further back, and then you have the one that's 200 foot back. That was the intent of what Dr. Bennett and Mayor Ham at the time was requesting us to do.
Okay.
So John, you're saying lot 1,
They're building on lot 1 now. It seems to
Being
me that
built.
lot 1 is facing Talon, but he's saying that it's facing College. So I don't understand the difference in lot 1 and lot 7. The three to the south, you're saying they want them staggered, or the ones in Talon want staggered, but the 3 to the south all line up and look like they're about the same off the South College.
They're about 70 feet off.
Okay?
So they're further back than lot 1.
Okay. But lot 1 and lot 7 seem to be about the same size lot, so how can you make it work on lot 1 without a variance, and you can't make it work on lot 7?
Yeah, I mean, lot 1 is twice as big as lot 7 is twice as big as lot 1. It's bigger in size. What we're trying to do is,
Then that would make it easier.
but if you want the front 45 feet off of South College, I think what we're trying to say is we're trying to build the same footprint, but we're trying to slide it back into the lot, so it's not as close to South College.
Go to what was the other slide? Thank you. So it looks like that lot is a little bit deeper, so I guess you could slide it back 5 or 10 feet without a variance.
Yeah, I mean, we're basically trying to create the envelope to work out of to site a house on this. When Scott and I met with the city, they asked us to push this thing back as far as we can. We're in the process of doing that, and so essentially, if we get the variance, we can slide this thing back and do it. If we can't, then we're going to have to deal with putting it within the envelope that doesn't require a variance.
So this is basically a design intent issue.
Well, it's me and Scott upholding our word to the mayor and to the city staff 5 years ago when we talked about trying to slide this stuff back. We're trying to be men of our word, but also, yes, if we're sliding the house back, it's for more of architectural intent and getting it to fit into character with the adjacent properties is what we're trying to do. We're not trying to increase the developable area or anything like that. It's essentially sliding back and just shifting this thing back into the lot. We do have a topo fall down. So the house on lot 1 has a garage coming up off the back, but that lot is relatively flat compared to this site. Whereas if you have, you really can't have a rear entry garage or a garage in the back that you come off of, because it's going to be 8 to 10 feet below the home that's you know, the front of the house that's facing South College. So there's a grade issue too on that side, on the north side of Talon Court.
So,
Oh, go ahead.
so it's a matter of keeping your word relative to a design intent.
Correct.
My
And-
question with that is, that happened before it was platted, right? So why wasn't that included in the plat?
What's that now?
This word that you're trying to keep?
Yeah, I mean, they said to try to push it back as we can. I mean, this site plan is what we were discussing with on those side. And they said, can you go for a variance to push it back? And we said, we will do it. We'll try for it.
Well, we've had people come before us before they went for planning. Is that right? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll come and ask for the variance and get all the rules and whatever down, and then they'll go before planning. Is that, okay. And-
She's saying no.
Wait, are you talking about for a subdivision plat? Like,
I just remember there was a case where somebody came before us, and I don't remember the exact case, but basically they were like,
okay, I think what you're referring to may be blanket variances for an entire subdivision that's being developed. So prior to those lots even being
correct,
developed, yes.
right.
Yes, you are
Which would
correct.
be what this would be.
Well, no, these have been platted.
No. I'm saying they could have, before they were platted, they could have come before us and said, these are the variances, which is what you're saying.
That's typically not. That's typically.
It's odd, but somebody came before us and did that, if I recall. There was
There
some,
have been a few, but I think they've been for blanket variances where one phase has been platted, but other phases have not.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is Woodward Oaks.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Woodward Oaks, we did a variance to slide the homes to a 10-foot setback to put the garages in the rear and have longer driveways. And we got the variance, but we ended up, for the first phase, but we ended up amending the PDD, and there's an incentive and exchange agreement as part of the PDD is if you agree to certain incentives, we ended up just rolling the variance. Forrest at the time was not comfortable having it blanket until he kind of saw it. So we came before you guys, got the variance, that was after the plat, got that, then once it got built and he thought that it looked good, then we went.
PDD like a PUD, is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. It's-
Okay,
it's-
well, that's a little bit,
Yeah,
yeah.
but you are right, we ended up coming and getting a variance, but that was after it got platted,
That's
we ended
correct.
up doing that.
Is this home designed already?
No, yeah, about halfway.
So there's no advantage incurred in reducing your buildable area, basically. I mean, that's a disadvantage, really.
Well,
you've-
I think part of that is where you're gonna access it, reducing the buildable area just in regards to shifting it back. Yeah, I mean, I don't think, I guess, yeah, you could, you know.
I mean,
I think
you-
if it's going that way, we would probably just reorientate the stuff and make the setbacks work to our advantage. We're trying to keep the intent of this house facing South College.
Well, it says in here, and I should have done my homework more, is Lot 1A, which is nearing completion and also has entrances facing both streets. So is Lot 1A a South College address or a Talon address?
It is South College.
And I'm sorry, Frost, because I interrupted you earlier. I
Oh,
apologize.
no, go ahead.
I'm confused about the timing because I understand that you had these conversations with Mayor Ham and them 5 years ago, but then this wasn't platted until more recently than that. So I guess when you made the plat, why didn't you just cut down the auxiliary lot a little or something?
Well, Note that the setbacks are not part of the plat. It's really the orientation of the home is what sets the front and side setbacks. So those boundaries, what we're coming before you for is if we assume that the house is orientated towards college and we have college as our front setback, that we have a 40-foot front setback and a 45-foot rear setback against our amenity lot. That's the intent. If we say, hey, our setback is, our front is Talon's Court and our rear's towards our property owner to the north, we only have a 15-foot side setback against the amenity lot, and I only have a 25-foot setback against South College, okay? But I have a 40-foot off of Talon's Court and a 40-foot off of Talon's and a 45. So you can reorientate the house and get it to work, but I don't think that the best interest of the city is all those homes along South College are facing South College, and that's what we're trying to maintain.
So why can't you do it, I guess you would do administrative replat? Is that what he would do to redraw that line?
If he was, yes.
So he could do that, right? So he wouldn't have to go before planning or anything else, he could just do administratively?
You're talking about moving the lot line between the amenity lot and lot 7?
Correct.
Yes.
Oh, I mean, the city's here today. Does the city have any say in as to whether they'd like the houses further back on South College? Is that a,
Because this is a subdivision plat, there are no conditions that were placed on the plat. It's just if you meet the subdivision regulations, that's how the vote is, and he meets the NC 20 setbacks, so that's all that we're looking for right now.
So why could you not move that lot line back?
The rear lot line? There's, I mean, I guess in theory you could. I mean, there's some drainage easements and the sewer easements and that kind of stuff through there, but, I mean, I guess you could, in theory, move the property line back out of that amenity area. We'd have to shift the amenity building.
Is it built?
With that's just an accessory structure setback, right? 5 foot?
Not if it's on its own lot, no.
Okay. So I guess you could, in theory, shift the property line back there and reduce the amenity lot, yeah.
Is there any minimum for amenity lot?
It would, at
Or
that
lot?
point, be an outdoor recreation
Yeah, it's outdoor.
use, and I don't know what the setbacks are off the top of my head, but
Or size is more of the question.
I don't think that there was a minimum size. It was really
Okay.
just what was left over, is what it was,
Okay.
if I recall. I'm going off of memory.
any other questions, comments for Brett?
There would be a, by adjusting the property line and moving the building back to, the amenity building back, they would have to contend with, like Brett was saying, the easements that are through that amenity site, because they wouldn't be able to put the building on the easement. However, there does appear like there could be some areas back there to be able to relocate the structure onto, but, you know, that's really for Brett to say yea or nay.
Yeah, we just have to look at it.
Yeah, but I mean, he's talking about doing basically a yard, and you can have a easement going down the back of your yard. You're not building on top of said easement.
Correct.
Right.
It's just underground retention, the whole thing is about.
Say that again now?
It's just underground retention, that whole green area with the easements all the way around it. That's why it's a pond.
Got you.
Brett, are you looking something up to show us or
No, I don't have anything. I was,
anything else?
no.
Any other questions?
Be happy to answer any questions I've got.
Okay. Thank you, Brett. Well,
I mean, if you've got underground, holding area, which I'm hearing you say, that still wouldn't matter. You could still move that lot line back and still have that easement.
You me answer you? You me answer you?
Yeah,
Okay.
for somebody.
Yeah, I think it could be doable. I think that you've got, there's quite a bit of storm underneath that one lot, and you're trying to build.
The whole lot?
Yeah, and trying to orientate that.
Can we have a picture of it? Can we see? Because it did look like it like had a little bit of a valley in it. Can we have that?
So all the grass to the, but you can't see the right and starting about where that kind of berm is, that's all like, I think there's 8 rows of chambers. Maybe it's-
Yeah, there's a culvert that comes underneath South College there, and so it runs down our street, and it runs down the shared property line and has an easement on it. And then right on the shared lot line at the rear of this lot and on the amenity lot. And then next to that is where the underground detention system that Scott's referring to.
I think I could make it work if that makes it easier on everybody.
Well, I mean, to be quite honest with you having underground retention there, I mean, that makes a huge, that makes a difference to me in your argument. I mean,
Well, no,
I just,
we were trying to preserve the lawn as an open space, but yeah, we have, I want to say, it's a pretty big pipe. The box culvert that's coming, there was a huge box culvert coming underneath the road that was built like in the 20s. It's like 8 by 8. At the end of the day, it was only about 5 or 6 acres upstream draining through it. So we had like a 36-inch pipe that's routed through this system through here, and then have an underground detention system next to that. And instead of doing it above ground, we wanted to make it nice, so we put it underground and made this lawn over the top of it. So that's what this lot essentially backs up to, is that storm pipe and then that separate underground detention system back there.
so it's not buildable.
It's not, no. The only area that we could put anything, can you go
Is
back
where
to?
you have that buildable.
Is where we have that little gazebo, is about the only buildable area. We kind of have some walls to deal with the grades, but that's really like the only place we could really put anything, because anything, you have the finger on there?
I think I.
Where, right here?
I think I'm willing to.
It doesn't show up on their
Oh, it
screen.
doesn't show up there?
Scott, were you saying something?
Yeah, I think I'm willing to look at moving it maybe further, I guess that's east, back towards the cul-de-sac, down on the other side. To me, it's gonna be the same house regardless. And so to me, I mean, to what Brett's point, I know you get a lot of guys come trying to, this really has nothing to do other than the fact that it's gonna make the street look better. As opposed to you driving down and getting hit in the face with 2 homes that.
I agree.
And so that was the whole reason we sat around the table and said, and I think it's even in the minutes, that's why we didn't go back and, I mean, it wasn't, I think they kept minutes of that meeting, because it, you know, I went through quite a difficult time even doing this, and so that was one of the things that I wanted to make it look like it needed to be there, not somebody didn't give a rip about what architecturally pleasing going down that street actually should be, and so that's all we're doing, and so if I need to move the lot line, if that makes it easier, you know, so it's not a hardship, and it's not all, you know, doesn't check all the lot, I'm willing to look at moving the amenity building to do that, so.
And I'm the owner of it, it's the same house either way.
How large is the house? Because it seems like too, whenever we look at item D, I mean, you've already got 8,820 buildable square feet, and the other lots are around 4,000. So are we putting a 8,000 square foot house?
No, either way, it's the same house.
Okay,
So, I don't know, but it's,
that's why I'm
Yeah,
just confused
I think
about the variance.
the
like-
first floor is 4,200, on the plan you sent me yesterday, is 4,200 square foot.
So I mean, that,
floor
even that
plan.
fits quite easily in the what's already what's already proposed.
it's not a fit issue.
It's not a fit issue.
No. It's totally not a fit
Just
issue.
pushing it.
It's just totally sliding it back.
Okay.
So what will the new, or the proposed South College side, that setback be? How far is this house gonna be off of South College?
They're changing the back set line, not the front one.
Correct.
No,
So-
but
yeah.
the whole argument is we wanna get away from the road.
So it's essentially, if we're sliding it back 30 feet, we're gonna be back, you know,
So you're gonna be 70 feet.
yeah.
Then you're gonna be 70.
So if we were gonna do this, I would wanna condition it on that, because otherwise, this gives them free reign to go all the way up to College and all the way to the back of the lot.
I don't, yeah, we don't disagree. I mean, that's, yes. That was my point. That was what I was trying to explain is, it's not like we're trying to make more buildable square footage, so,
Well, and that's what I was trying to say too.
yeah, yeah. So if it's, whatever we're encroaching back is gotta, is what we gotta come off, that's fine. That's what the intent
But
was.
like, you know, if we don't get it in
No, no,
writing,
no,
it doesn't count.
Understood, 100%. 100%.
All right, any other questions? All right, thank you, Brent. Open to public hearing. Close public hearing, open to board discussion.
To me, with that lot, having all the retention up under it, I mean, to me, that's a big difference maker to me, because then all of a sudden that lot doesn't become buildable, then you don't have somebody that's gonna be on top of it. They can't do anything about that.
So are you saying that it's in a good way, in favor of the variance?
Yeah, I mean, I
agree.
think it makes a big difference.
I mean,
But all of a sudden, if this lot behind it becomes buildable, then you got somebody that comes in, they're like, why is this 15 feet? But it won't ever come to that.
Johnny, you talking about the community space?
Mm-hmm.
They made me do that in fear of that I was gonna blow out the cul-de-sac and go and take Ben's other property and go down the street.
I believe
So
it
that's
is
why they
noted
put
on
the
plot.
detention there
Yeah.
and underground?
That's why they made me do it. They didn't want me to shrink the front lot to make that a buildable lot, and so then go down the road, blow that out, and do another street out the bowl and go.
Was that why the plat was denied the first time, like back in, okay.
Well, there's a lot of reasons.
I wasn't privy to that back then, but I was just wondering.
The lot that you're referencing, it's platted as essentially unbuildable lot right now, as a
I can't build on, I can't build on it, no matter what, other than the amenity building.
Well, I hear you, but to me, the detention really holds your feet to the fire, because I mean, the stormwater runoff is a huge deal. You just can't all of a sudden say, just kidding.
Very expensive.
I got it.
Yeah.
I understand.
Right.
Yeah, so that's kind of, I mean, they can't do anything else with that lot, which to me makes a difference, so.
Like
And
in-
I understand with them trying to push it back, so.
Or
I don't
a
know
motion
how
with
to word
conditions?
So would it be right if it were a variance of 30 feet to the minimum required 45-foot rear yard setback to allow a rear yard setback of 15 feet conditioned on a 70-foot front setback?
Maximum setback, or minimum setback. of
Minimum
70.
setback. Yeah, very well. Very well.
Hey,
There you go, good
that law
job.
degree came in handy. Okay.
Second,
Frost Rollins,
Yes.
Amy Zorlas,
Yes.
Kim White,
Yes.
Clint,
Yes.
John Huff.
yes.
All right, that is it for this evening.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you.